Hello, my fellow chatterers and book lovers. And anyone else who's popped in because you're curious about what this is or you have got a bit lost around BookTube. It does happen to the best of us. But I'm Chatty, this is my channel, Chatty the Mad Chatter, and I'm going to be chatting very madly about my summer book haul. So I'll be going through all the books I have hauled in their various different descriptions. We have book boxes, we have library books, we have being healthy for books, which I'll touch on in a moment, and gifted books and books that I've just bought for myself because why not? So that is what I'm going to be doing. If you have not been to my channel before, this is one long rolling shot. So it is one shot, no edit. This is my gimmick because it's a shot of tea. See what I did there? Love a pun. And so that's what this is all about. I can't edit. It's just you get the waffle. You get the waffle, you learn to embrace the waffle, and my videos go off on all kinds of tangents. The camera falls over. It's chaos, but that is the vibe. If it's not yours, go find another video. If you enjoy this vibe, why not subscribe, give it a like, or have a little chat with me in the comments. I do love a chat. So here we go. Clink, 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 clink. I do apologise if I look sweaty. It's because I am sweaty. It's very, very hot. It's very hot. It's very close. We shouldn't be sad about the heat. It should be okay. Should enjoy the heat, but I am just melting. I don't do that well in heat. I think my body prefers the cold, but it is what it is. It is what it is, and we should actually be enjoying it, although slightly concerned about global warming. Anyway, tangents galore. Let us try and stick to books. Right. I'm going to go gift boxes first of all. Let's do those first. So, I subscribe to two book boxes. I'm calling them boxes for whatever another word is. It is one of them's a packet. It's an envelope with a book inside. So first of all, we have Shelterbox Book Club, and what they are is a wonderful charity. It is the charity Shelter, and they have like a minimum donation, but you can donate more. And you pay a monthly subscription, and every 6 weeks you get the chance to vote on one of 3 books, and the one with the most books is then sent out to you in the post, and then you get a lovely little newsletter telling you, the plans. So when the next vote for the book is, when the results are expected to be announced, when there's going to be kind of like talk around that book. So please read the book by this date, and you can join in with the chat on their Facebook page. There will usually be a sort of live discussion, or you can kind of click a link and join in if you want, or you could just watch and join in the chat. Only managed one of them. And then when the next book is due to arrive. And then it also gives you a little bit about the book and also a little bit about the work they are doing. So the money that you are funding goes to Shelter, and they go around the world helping people in their different housing situations, whether that is through poverty or through war or through natural disasters. They are there supporting the world, which is a fantastic charity. And the books they select do tend to be sort of books from around the world, of different cultures, different stories. So that is one of the things I really like about it, because it does expand my reading and it does push me out of my comfort zone. So the June book that we got is Vaseem Khan's Midnight at Malabar House. And this, it's got a tagline that says, "Murder can divide a nation." And this was shortlisted for the CWA, which is a Spear Books Historical Dagger. I have no idea what that is, but there we go, that's on there, so that's fun. I don't know a lot about this book, so I'm just going to read you the back, just so you get a little taste of what it's all about. So it says, Bombay, New Year's Eve, 1949. As India celebrates the arrival of a momentous new decade, Inspector Paris Wadia stands vigil in the basement of Malabar House, home to the city's most unwanted unit of police officers. 6 months after joining the force, she remains India's first female police detective, mistrusted, sidelined, and now consigned to the midnight shift. And so, when the phone rings to report the murder of a prominent English diplomat, Sir James Herriot, the country's most sensational case falls into her lap. Accompanied by Scotland Yard criminalist Archie Blackflint, and navigating a country and society in turmoil, smart, stubborn Persis must find a way to solve the murder, whatever the cost. This sounds brilliant. I'm very excited to read a book set in India. I am very excited to read a book with a female detective. This sounds brilliant. I'm really excited. I am not quite in the mood for crime fiction at the moment, but I feel it coming. I feel it's going to be happening. Possibly October, November. I don't know why, but those months are seeming to tell me that they would invite crime fiction. So we will see. I'm hoping that I pick this up soon. And so I received that one in early July, I think. And then I received this one mid-August. So this is The Colour of Air by Gail Tsukiyama. And this is, again, it's kind of a mixture of heritages. We have like a collision of cultures. And we are going to be kind of looking at more of like a family, rather than a detective novel. It's going to be more of like a family, sort of like family history and explanation. I am slightly saddened by this beige line down the side here. It's not even one of those. It's like a photo. You know how they usually have like where the book cover is half. It just leaves like maybe like a centimetre, and then you've got like an extra cover inside with loads of like people telling you how amazing the book is. I don't like those covers, and it just saddens me because I think this cover would look really, there we go, look, how much nicer does this cover look? Now it's not got a weird line down the side. We've got a beautiful blue sky, blue sea, and we've got this erupting volcano in the background giving us those sunset colours, which I love. So it's a shame. So I'm just going to hold it like this because then it looks slightly more, it looks nicer. So, this is a historical novel set against the backdrop of a Hawaii sugar plantation about a Japanese-American family learning to accept the past and step forward into the future. It's 1935 in the small town of Hilo, Hawaii, and the Mount Lua volcano looms large. After a prestigious stint in a Chicago hospital, Daniel Abe, a young doctor born in Hilo, is finally returning home to his Japanese-American community in Hawaii. But when Daniel's boat approaches Hilo, the volcano begins to stir. On the island, his uncle Koji is still living in the past with memories of Daniel's mother, Marinko, the great love of his life. Daniel is like a son to him, and his arrival is a welcome respite despite the betrayal that Koji has struggled to keep from him all of these years. But as Daniel wrestles with secrets of his own and gets closer to his childhood sweetheart, long-held truths simmering below the surface will be unearthed. So I'm excited about the historical part and the natural disaster. I don't always enjoy books with family secrets where I feel it's kind of hinting at sort of murky, mixed love, family betrayal kind of ideas. I'm hoping it doesn't go down that. I'm hoping it's a different type of family secret or history or something that's explored. But that's what I'm feeling. So I'm slightly apprehensive with this one because that's not my vibe, but that is the point of these books, to challenge me, see if I maybe like different things. Okay, the other book subscription box is a very popular one if you dwell a lot in the fantasy sections of BookTube, and that is Fairyloot. I get the YA book subscription box, so I have 3 months worth to show you. Just the August one was delivered in like the first day of September, but I'm putting it in with this because it is officially the August book. So the first one you may recognise if you've been on my channel a lot is Sing Me to Sleep by Gabby Burton. I chose this as one of my books for my Magical Readathon TBR. I have enjoyed this so much. It absolutely lives up to its cover. So when I received this book, I had never heard of it, and I was so excited when I read about what it was about. First of all, the cover got me so intrigued. We have the beautiful different sea colours, so like a really dark one, sort of like a teal, almost glowing ones, like swirling around in like a whirlpool. And in the middle, we have this sort of swimming figure. You can see this woman in a dress swimming somewhere. And then you've got some like rays and some other kind of sea creatures that have been like aligned in this gold foiling. And you have Sing Me to Sleep around that. And I just love that. And then at the back, again, you've still got this swirling vortex. And then you have the taglines: a duty to protect, a desire to kill, and an impossible love. And this book lived up to all of that. We have beautiful edges where we get this wonderful sea swirling that goes all the way down. So we've got greens and blues and darker blues in here. And under the dust jacket, it is just as beautiful. I really like this printed on the hard cover, like a completely different picture. So again, we've got gold foiling with the title Sing Me to Sleep in this border, and we've got this seabed, and we've got fishes, and then we've kind of got the moon above. And then here we've got the moon sort of like under the water. And the title in gold again on the side. And then we have end pages. Let me just move the art. Really love the art here. So we have our protagonist Saoirse in the sea, and this is I am terrible, I've totally forgotten his name. How rude of me. Anyway, this is the prince that she is a bodyguard of. I don't think this actually depicts a scene from the book. I think it just gives you a theme of the story. It is a lot about kind of like hidden personalities. Here we have a scene, the back end pages, we have the sea. It says the Sea Queen on it. We've got a boat. It says the Sea Queen on the boat, not on the sea. Again, we've got a moon, and we have, let me find his name because this is ridiculous. What is he called? Prince Hayes. There we go. Hayes. We have Hayes on the back, leaning out the boat. So this world was, I was very excited when I got this because it's about a siren. I've never read about a siren. I love the concept of her having to be hidden or she would be killed, and of having to kind of like fight down this deep desire she has to kill people herself. But to aid that, she becomes an assassin, and then she ends up like having to be the bodyguard to the prince. Meanwhile, we hear about her family and their particular situation, and we get to hear more about this world and how it's not the utopia it's supposed to be. When this island was oh, what have I done? There we go. Nope, still not happy. Why are you not happy, book cover? Go back on properly. So this island that it's all set on is like protected from the rest of the world. Like it was kind of like shut itself in as like a protection. And there's a magical barrier around it, and no one can kind of get out. So they have become this world, and it is segregated. So it's called Kedra. So Kedra, you can see the magical boundary around, and we have lots of different sections. So the main sections, we have 4 different Fae sections with 4 different elements. And then we have a section for humans and a section for witches, and some kind of like other sub ones as well. So we get this segregated society, a society that has a very kind of different classes and levels and expectations of people, and places they fit in the world, and beliefs of worth. Humans are bottom of the pile, then witches, then Ithka Fae, which are Fae without powers, and then Fae with elemental powers. Sirens are not on the list because they're not even supposed to exist. They're all supposed to have been killed off. So that got me excited, and the book lived up to my expectation, and I had a great time with it. So yay! And if I thought that wasn't exciting enough, the July box, again, another book that I had never heard of, but another book that I am also really excited about. So it's not a full-on fantasy world. I think it's more urban fantasy, but it definitely has a lot of fantastical elements that are in the story. And we have a purple cover. Purple is gorgeous. I love purple. And this is by Kika Hatsupulu, and it is called Threads That Bind. So we have a wonderful like swirlingness. I think we can sort of like see these like orbs and planets amongst it, and it's all done in with silver foiling this time, and lots of like silver foiling thread around, and we have our protagonist in the middle here. Then on the back we still have this purpley into blue kind of colours, and then the tagline for this one is, "The Moria born always came in threes, like the Moray, the goddesses of fate themselves." And I knew what the Moray were because I had been researching one of the parts of Greek mythology that I am interested in that don't tend to find in kind of their own stories that much, are the 3 fates. If, like me, you enjoy the Disney film Hercules, you will see them fighting over the eye and hitting each other on the back in order to grasp the eye. I love them, they're great. So you have 3 different aspects. You have the cutter, the spinner, and the weaver. Spinner, oh, the drawer. Okay, I think I called that one the weaver, or in another place it was called the weaver. So it says on the back, the firstborn was the spinner who could weave new threads. The second was the drawer. She could elongate or shorten a thread. The measurer, that was what I read her as. Intensifying or weakening the corresponding feeling. And the youngest was the cutter, able to cut whatever thread she desired, even life threads. Cutters were the dangerous ones. and our protagonist is, of course, a cutter. So it's all about this magical concept of how you can have different bonds to people, and those bonds can be like connecting you in life. It could be your life thread. It could be like a relationship thread. So it's really fascinating to kind of hear this concept. So I'm excited about this whole theme and this concept and this aspect of the mythology, because it's one that I have really, really enjoyed. So I really hope it, I feel very positive that it's going to give me what I want. Then let's just have a quick look at these edges. We have purples and dark purples and pinky purples and stars all over. On the top and bottom, it goes black into greeny blue and light purple on the bottom there. And then we have some symbols in the middle. So we have a moon with an eye shut, an eye open, and then a full moon with a dagger in the middle, by the look of it. And then on the under the dust jacket, we have this. I think is gorgeous. We have silver foiling, and often we have like a face with a border, but I much prefer when we just have a figure of a character done in a different colour. It doesn't have to be foiled. It just happens it is. It's purple with silver foiling. It's beautiful. And then we have these threads around our protagonist here. And then the spine is just threads that bind in silver. And the end pages, here we go. Here is our protagonist. We also have 3 moons in this world. This is exciting. And here we have our protagonist's, I presume, love interest. And the moons are no longer full, they are all crescent. So I think those are very, very cool end pages. Oh, and we have an alternative cover on the back. It's cool. It's all kind of like planets and stars and lines, and it's again those purpley pinky colours. But I do just love the whole thread weaving with our protagonist on the front and the orbs. I enjoy that a lot. So there is an interesting connection between the love interest and our protagonist, that our protagonist kind of sees the way their fates are. And I think she has some choices to make as to what she needs to do in terms of her gift. Was there any more plot that I can give you without giving too much away? Okay, yeah, so there's a murder witness. So she's been thrown together with, I think it's called, so our protagonist is called Io. A-Day. Okay, it's a mob. He's a member of the violent Rossi mob. Okay, they're thrown together, they witness a murder, and they have to solve the murder, and then you've got this fate stuff going on as well. I'm really excited for this one. No idea when I'm going to read it. I feel it's one that I'm just going to put off to be anticipating, because I feel like it's going to be a really good one. And the final one, so the one we've just got, so the August book, is called Bonesmith by Nikki Powell Preto. And Nikki Powell Preto has already written another YA trilogy that I think a lot of people were reading in the past couple of years, which is to do with phoenixes. I'm pretty sure it was it. Okay, yeah. Author of Crown of Feathers trilogy. And that was the one with like the phoenixes that I knew a lot of people were reading and really enjoyed. So this is a very different vibe from her. It looks very intriguing. I think most people will see this and immediately get Gideon the Ninth vibes because of the death. Like that's the skull and the necromancy fantasy book that comes up is Gideon the Ninth. My favourite thing about this is the edges. And it's the top and bottom edges. So it's just this like green lights and kind of like skeletons. And it reminds me, again, going back to Hercules, of the Dead Sea. It's not called the Dead Sea, is it? That's an actual sea. But you know, in Hades, in the underworld, there's where everyone kind of like swims. The ghostly souls swim in the Dead Sea. It reminds me of that, and I think it looks really cool. But we also get our protagonist down the side here with very interesting eyes. The artwork is really cool. I feel I will enjoy this. I do feel I will enjoy this, but I don't feel in the mood for it at any point in time. I think that is also because I really want to finish the Locked Tomb trilogy. So I've read Gideon the Ninth a while ago, and I want to read the other two and kind of finish out that trilogy. There could be a fourth book. I can't remember. I've kind of just been blocking off when people have been talking about it. And I can't do too much bony dead books in one go. It's too much. I can't. Some people love that vibe. I can take it in small doses. I'm not a bony dead person reader as much. I like the sea. So we have Under the Dust Jacket. Again, this is very cool. I like the dark green and the white. And I think this is a really cool image where you've got the silhouette of our protagonist. She has a name. What is her name? Ren. Okay, so this is Ren. We've got her skull. What's that? Like shoulder pads almost. And then we've got this kind of like Bone Castle Kingdom behind her. So that is really cool under there. We also have end pages. We've got a very kind of hero-esque pose here with a bow. No, two swords, not a bow at all. 2 swords, weapons in these kind of eerie cathedral-esque type of architecture. And here we have, I presume this is going to be the love interest, very interesting kind of like sword. It looks a little bit like a snake, like a skeleton spinal cord like sword. I hope there's like extra properties we get to that. I don't know if it's one of those ones that will kind of like all clink together and then like be released as like a whip. I'm very intrigued by the weapon. So we have that as well. So fun end pages, and then you have an alternative cover. This also looks quite cool. I'm not sure if I'm here for like the bold gold with the greeny kind of underworldy stuff. I think I prefer like the shades on this one. But the human on the front cover is too big and imposing. I prefer it kind of with the mixture. But there we go. That's just my thoughts on the cover. And I'm going to read you a little bit of a synopsis because I don't know enough about this one to kind of just chat by myself. So it says, in the Dominions, the dead linger, violent and unpredictable, unless a Bonesmith severs the ghost from its earthly remains. For Bonesmith Wren, becoming a Valkyrie, a ghost-fighting warrior, is a chance to solidify her place in the noble house of Bone and impress her frequently absent father. But when sabotage causes Wren... I'm going to stop there. So there's something that happens, and Ren feels she needs to prove herself, and she gets involved in solving a kidnapping and proving that she can do what she needs to become this Valkyrie. And I think she's got to meet up with like a sworn enemy. So there's possibly going to be a enemies to lovers, slow burn friendship romance. I'm hoping that we hit those beats rather than going straight from enemies to lovers. Just a personal preference. The end, what do you call them? I call them taglines. I don't know if that's the actual thing, but it says, "Ready your blade, defeat the undead." So I do think it's going to be a really fun one, but it's definitely one that I will enjoy when I'm in the right mood for it. And have not been reading about a load of dead stuff at that point. Can only cope with so many skeletons at one given time. Yeah, it does sound a very, very... I know I've compared it to Gideon and the Knights, but that's just in terms of like vibes and aesthetic. It sounds like it is going to be a very, very different story to that. But yes, excited for all of those. Let's move on. I am now going to talk about... I'm going to give my library books. So 2 books that I have had for a while. You will have heard me talk about them in July. I have got Crackledawn Dragon by Abby Elphinstone, which is the 4th book in the Unmapped Chronicles. If you love a cozy middle grade and you have not read the Unmapped Chronicles, read the Unmapped Chronicles. It is so cozy. It is so gloriously whimsical. You will have a wonderful time. This was my favourite of all of them. Loved it. More of that in my July wrap-up, which may or may not come before this. I do not know. I'm filming this before my July wrap-up, interestingly, at the end of August. I just haven't got there yet. The other one I also read in July is Zachary, Ying and the Dragon Emperor by Ziran J. Zhao. I thought this was going to be a standalone. It's not. It is a start of a series. No rumours on when the next book is out, but then we haven't had, I think it's Heavenly Tyrant, the 2nd book in the Iron Widow series, trilogy, duology, who knows. So I'm not holding my breath right now. This gave me a very kind of Percy Jackson vibe in that it is about mythology. It's about mythology in the modern world. And there is a lot of that kind of like tongue-in-cheek humour about how the ancient world kind of relates to stuff in the modern world. What it did very differently, which I really enjoyed, was how the mythology and legends can kind of take on their own form. So if you have if this legend has then inspired like a popular set of novels, or if it's inspired like a film or a game, any powers that are attributed to that character because of that game or because of that film, that deity or historical folklore character from the mythology has those powers, regardless of whether or not they had that in the original myth. I thought that was really cool. We have a trio of protagonists. We have a protagonist that's exploring his identity, and I thought that was really interesting. It has also inspired me to go and explore lots of the myths in here. I really want to get hold of some sort of like book on Chinese myths, because that is a part of my knowledge I do not have. That makes no sense. That is a gap in my knowledge. That is what I meant. So these two books, library books I've read, I'm just holding on to them because I've yet to do my July wrap-up. That's why they're still here. So the only one I kind of have out at the moment really is a new one that I just picked up because I've been looking at middle grade books, and this one has caught my eye quite a lot. So this is called The Secret of Haven Point by Lisette Auton. Auton. And it has disability rep in here. It is, I don't know if it's magical realism or if it's just kind of like more of a urban fantasy at the coast. I'm not sure, but I will find out. And it just sounds like it's really going to be cozy and heartwarming and affirming, and possibly kind of like quite emotionally heavy as well. I'm not sure, but I'm really keen to read it. I definitely want to be reading more books with disability representation in them. So when I was in my library having my children find some books and I saw this, I needed to get it out, and it will probably sneak onto one of my TBRs at some point. I definitely feel that I'm going to be needing to pick up a middle grade, and so I probably will get to this one. So they are called the Wrecklings, and it is for any disabled person who needs somewhere to belong, and they are named after the way they make a living on the wild shore. They loot from ships, so that's how they survive. So they kind of live in this haven, in this lighthouse, and they use their kind of magical gifts to plunder ships. So I'm presuming we're going to be looking at this kind of morality aspect. And I think this kind of comes to a head, and they decide what kind of they're wanting for them. I don't know if it's because their haven is intruded on, or if they get in trouble and don't manage to wreck a ship, or they suddenly feel that maybe they shouldn't be wrecking them anymore. I don't know, but I'm very curious to find out. Okay, that's the library books. I have done quite well recently with not getting out loads and loads of library books, but I have 2 library books I'm hoping to pick up tomorrow. I'm just waiting to get the official confirmation from the library that a book that I have requested has come in. So we will see. What shall I go on to now? I will go on to ones that I have kind of already spoken about briefly. So these are gifted books, and 3 of them are arcs that I was given when I went to the wonderful bookshop called the Book Nook. I talk about them in a little more detail in this video, which is where I share how I've been doing and some exciting things, and I do a little book haul and talk a lot more about the Book Nook because it's wonderful. But I have a middle grade, The Horse Who Came Home by Olivia Tuffin. I have since read this one. Not my usual kind of story. I will read all middle grade, but it's not usually one I'd reach for. But it was nice to read something very different. And I think if you are someone that is into animal stories, it did have a bit of kind of like animal rights justice kind of in here, slightly, just in terms of like how you care for animals. And it did explore sisters as well, so that was very interesting. And that will be reviewed at some point when I get around to doing my August wrap up. Woohoo! I have not read this one. This is Where the Light Goes by Sarah Barnard. So this is a YA contemporary, and it is has mental health themes. So I am very keen to pick this one up soonish. But I think it just, again, has to be when I'm in the right mood. And I have quite a lot of mental health books in contemporary fiction, YA mental health books. and I just haven't been in the right mood for them recently. I don't know where that mood is going to hit, but I do know that I do want to read them. We will see. I just want to give them their best possible chance of being enjoyable. And I'm always in the mood for a middle grade fantasy book. This sounds delightfully whimsical. This is Green Wild, The World Behind the Door by Parry Thomas. And it is illustrated by Elisa Pagnelli. The actual cover of this is beautiful, but I am delighted that in this arc we still get a little copy of the map. In the hardback you get a double page spread of this map, which is gorgeous. And it says, step into the adventure of a lifetime. Like kind of a magical greenhouse is what I understood from this one. So it says, Daisy Thistledown has recently escaped from boarding school and has a mystery to solve. The trail will lead her through a hidden doorway to the Green Wild, a rich and lush land bursting with magic. There, Daisy finds herself confronting a dangerous presence that threatened green magic on both sides of the door. She must band together with a botanical genius, a boy who can talk to animals, and a cat with attitude, to channel the power that can save the Green Wild and her own world too. So this sounds a lot of fun. I look forward to getting it at some point and feel delighted that I was just given these books by the wonderful people in the book. I now have an owl fantasy that was sent to me by Joshua Hershey. It is a indie publication, and it is called Lidan Falls, and it is about Mabel, who is a rumoured witch whose kingdom belongs to Lavian the Serpent. Her people are enslaved in darkness, but everything changes when Mabel discovers a book that transports her to a world of angels and demons. There she wields swords of fire and faces Tannen, a spirit-infesting dragon. Mabel sets off to save her people, unaware that she'll find Eva along the way, the mystic lady thrown away in time, and in doing so find herself. Mabel even learns how to break the darkness, but Lavian has different plans. Mabel wants to set her people free, make peace with her past and start a new life. She wants to be a fighter and protector of the one she loves. When life becomes a curse, can Mabel end the darkness before destroying herself? So I do believe there are kind of themes in here of not giving up hope and of possible depression and suicide. Don't quote me on that, but that is kind of the vibe I got from reading things about it. But interested. And it's on my TBR for September, October time. So I will now talk about some other books I have here. So these were books that were like my reward books for doing the Read What You Own challenge. So it made total sense to me to do Read What You Own challenge, where after 30 books I would give myself 5, because that makes total sense. I'm trying to clear books off my shelf and I would give myself 5 books. Wonderful. But it's joyous. And it did take me a really long time to do. So finally, after starting this in November, I reached the end of June and was able to, was it the end of June? Mid to end of June. And I got to spend my money on lovely new books. So of course I went to the Book Nook, and I have the Lizzie and Belle mysteries, and I have Jaime. So the Lizzie and Belle mysteries, this is Portraits and Poison. Look at this beautiful cover. It is by J.T. Williams and illustrated by Simone Douglas. Simone Douglas! Sorry, I've just had an epiphany. I have a video maybe up before this one where I talk about books under my bed, and there was one of the books where it was illustrated by Simone Douglas, and I was like, I know that name. Why do I know that name? Because she illustrated these ones. Wonderful. I love her illustrations. She's gorgeous. So Lizzie and Belle is a historical fiction mystery. It's set in the Georgian period and it follows the lives of Lizzie Sancho and Dido Belle, who are 2 historical black figures. So it's a wonderful book exploring, bringing black history to the forefront. Also feminism is explored in here as well, and also explores how people are portrayed in kind of images in this one. And in this one we have Dido as our narrator and the person we follow, and Lizzie as her kind of like secondary companion friend, whereas the other way round in the previous book, Drama and Danger. I have read this one already. It was delightful. So that's this one. And I have yet to read Jaime. It's another book that I'm kind of holding on to because I want to be in the perfect reading moment because I'm anticipating it so much. This is by L.D. Lipinski, who has written a fantasy series called The Strange World Travel Agency, and that is a series that I'm very keen to pick up at some point because I feel I'm going to absolutely love it. And this is a contemporary book from them, and it is about Jaime, who is a non-binary character. And Jaime has a bit of a dilemma because they have to go to secondary school, and unfortunately where they live, they have a boys' school and a girls' school. Where does Jaime go? So I've heard from so many people, Jack in particular from Spread Book Joy has said that this was just so beautifully written and absolutely lived up to kind of what we wanted from this subject matter. It's obviously its own voices, and it is a story set in Britain, where other kind of trans stories we've come across, more like Melissa, are set in America. So Jaime, we are very excited to read you. By we, I mean myself and my other self. Don't know why I say we. I am not royal. So yes, Jaime. Excited to read Jaime. Speaking of Jaimes who are lovely, I have Jaime Rain's book, The Teen LGBT+. So this is a self-help book with sort of memoir anecdotes in there from not only Jaime, who is a trans man, but also from other trans people, so non-binary people, trans women, and other kind of, what's the word? Identities is not the right word, but other trans voices with different titles is again the wrong word. There's a lot of language that you can use to describe what best suits you. So even beyond trans man, trans woman, and non-binary. So we have a whole kind of wealth of experiences in here. It is a very clear book. I am going to be wrapping it up in August, and yes, I have already read this one. So I will stop trying to wrap it up now because this is a whole video. But I was very, very excited about this book. I went to the question and answer event and got to meet Jaime, who signed it. So that is so exciting. And you can just hear Jamie's voice throughout this whole book, and it's gorgeous. It is very much a book if you really want to know more about trans people and kind of like their journey in their transness, different routes they could take, what they have to think about, what they have to explore, that kind of wouldn't occur to you if you were not trans. And if you are trans, you are going to love it even more because there will be an aspect in here where you'll go, someone sees me. I am, someone else feels these feelings that I have and these experiences. And I have no idea what I was saying because my son just popped in to see me. Anyway, I've hauled this one, I've read this one, I really enjoyed this one, and I will talk about it more in my August wrap-up. And look at my little bookmark that's still in there. So this is from The Bookish Type, which is a bookshop in Leeds, which I got some books from previously, and it is such a lovely bookshop. Okay, other books that, the final two books then that were part of that gifting myself rewards for managing to read books off my shelf. I need to wrap this up now. My voice is going, my brain is going, it's all going. So in my video here, which was about book shopping and like a bookish gush about meeting loads of booktubers and then what I hauled, I speak about these two books. So this is Secrets of the Stars by Maria Kuznia, which is the second book in the Ship of Shadows middle grade fantasy series. Don't know if this is the last one, if it's a duology or if there are going to be more. It's such a beautiful book. We have this gorgeous illustration, and look, if you peep through the cover, we have this full page in red, sort of like corally red and sea green colours of rocks, the sea, a hot air balloon, stars, a ship. It's gorgeous. So very excited to get to this one. And the other book I chose was Bloodmarked, which is a YA fantasy by Tracy Dion. I really enjoyed Legendborn, and this has been on my list for a while to get hold of, so finally have Bloodmarked. I talk about them in a little bit more detail in the video I just mentioned. Okay, I now have like a weird collection of books. Not a weird collection, but like it doesn't really fit a general category. And this is kind of just, I read what I said, I'm off my book buying ban, and I've just let myself have these books without earning them, which I'll come on to in a moment, what I mean by earning them if you've not heard me talk about that before. So I have bought myself a favourite book that I read at the library and loved and wanted to own, and that is Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds, and it's illustrated by Chris Priestley. I really need to read more Jason Reynolds books because I really enjoy the books I have read by him. This is a novel in verse. It's fantastic. I also love the graphic novel of this as well. If you want to know more about this book, I do have a comparison of the graphic novel to the novel in verse, and what I thought of them and what I thought they did well and what form I felt worked. So that's there. So if you want to know more about this in a bit more detail, it's all in there. But I absolutely loved this book. It's definitely one that I will pick up and reread. I find it really powerful. I think the way the story is told is incredible. So I knew I needed to own it at some point. And when I was having a little time on World of Books, I saw it and got it. And instead of putting it under my bed to I was like, I'm going to have it now, because although I really love it and know it's a book I want on my shelf, I don't know how that's going to compare with me getting books that I haven't read yet out. So I don't know if this might just... I didn't want this to stay under the bed for ages. I was like, I want it on my shelf. So here we go. It's here. I have it. I own it. Woo! Joyous. And then when I was on holiday, we were at a National Trust place. I had a second-hand bookshop, and I found this beautiful copy of an Emma Carroll book. So it's a middle grade. Emma Carroll is known for her historical fiction. And when I went to the book nook and got all those lovely books, the bookshop owner spoke to me like saying, have you read any Emma Carroll? I really love Emma Carroll. I was like, I have not read any Emma Carroll. I've seen her books. I've heard good things. I want to read an Emma Carroll. And here they have Secrets of a Sun King. Beautiful illustrations. We've got a sparkling sea. We've got camels. We've got a boat on the shore. We've got sand. And this is a historical fiction. It says London 1922. A discovery from ancient Egypt, a cursed package, the untold story of a young pharaoh. When Lillian Kay finds a parcel on her granddad's doorstep, she is shocked to see who sent it. A famous Egyptologist found dead that very morning, according to every newspaper in England. The mysterious package holds the key to a story about a king whose tomb archaeologists are desperately hunting for. Lil and her friends must embark on an incredible journey to return the package to its resting place, to protect those they love, and to break the deadly pharaoh curse. This sounds like a wonderful, fun middle grade adventure. And it was £1, I think, in the bookshop. £2 in the bookshop. And I was on holiday and I was like, that's my holiday treat. There we go. Thank you. So I didn't need to earn it. It's going to be on my shelf for me to pick up whenever I like. I also had a very exciting parcel waiting for me to open when I came back, and it was the long-awaited Secret Project 2 from Brandon Sanderson, and that is The Frugal Wizard's Handbook for Surviving Medieval England. So this is a standalone. It is not a part of any of Brandon Sanderson's other worlds, as far as I know. It says, we here at the Frugal Wizard Incorporated are committed to providing you with the highest quality experience possible, available to any true wizard for a reasonable price. We provide the fun, you provide the body. And the money, don't forget the money. Also being your own body, that we don't ask too many questions. I think that sounds fun. I'm going into this book with zero expectations, apart from a fun time. So I guess I have an expectation. My expectation is to have a fun time. I'm not expecting amazing emotional characters. I'm not expecting exciting world and themes that will thought-provoke me like I have in Stormlight. I'm not going in with those expectations. I'm just here to have fun, which is what I feel Sanderson had when he wrote it. But it's a beautiful copy. It's blue. We have a slightly scary looking silhouette of a wizard here with a spellbook and some sort of gun. I mean, from where it looks like a Nerf gun, but that's probably because the only guns I know in my life are Nerf guns, and I'm very happy to keep it that way. I don't know if this is a waterfall or like a beam of light. It's hard to tell. We've got some moons, we've got some earth, we've got the world here. I believe it kind of goes back to medieval England or something like that, but I could be wrong. I love the end pages in here. I have no idea who these characters are, but I look forward to meeting them. We have a mixture of serious, mirthful and pondering faces I mean, here, this is highly entertaining. Who is this woman who is holding a wand under her nose? Maybe it's the same woman. They have very similar hair. I'm not sure, but it looks like a fun time. And on the back, we have more curious images here. So I am very keen to see what this is all about. And it also comes with a glittery bookmark of possibly a wizard, evoking some sort of lightning from the sky. I'm not sure, but it's very delightful. And then we have this cute little wizard sticker here. Looks like some sort of octopus thing, but I really like the cute little wizard in a wizard hat. He looks like a little tiny ghost or a tiny marshmallow. I'm not sure, but it's very cute. And we got a spoiler warning. This box contains magic, wizards, and hidden feeds. So yes, it was a lot of fun opening this box. I had a great time. I'm excited to get to this book and whatever it may contain inside it. It does look like we have got illustrations, some sort of weird like pages of a book and some sort of chart. Likelihood of other dimension existing to percentage differences from own dimension. I am getting slight Pratchett vibes from this. Sort of on that kind of more zany Pratchett or sci-fi that is really famous, that's funny, that involves a galaxy. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. Thank you. I was like, it's not Guardians of the Galaxy. I know it's not Guardians of the Galaxy, but I can't think of any other words apart from Guardians of the Galaxy. Yes, Pratchett and Douglas Adams vibes is kind of what I'm getting from this one. I mean, those are very big names to live up to, but Sanderson is also a big name as well, so we will see what happens. But like I said, I just want a fun time with that book. Okay, we are at the point where I am now on my being healthy for books, which is kind of like when I started doing book hauls, it was my main thing to share my being healthy for books haul. And then it kind of grew into include book boxes and library books. And then I don't usually have books that I have gained as presents for myself unless it's been Christmas or birthday, but yeah, we've gone off on all kinds of different ones for this one, but this is the crux of the matter here, and it's a very small pile. Oh, and I'm missing one. It's up there, hold on. And I know why I'm missing it, because it wasn't really an earned book, was it? Okay then, June, I earned two books in June. Firstly, what do I mean by earning books for people who have missed it? If you know all about this, feel free to skip ahead. I will timestamp it so you don't have to listen to stuff you already know. I am trying to motivate myself to make healthy decisions in my life. I should definitely eat more fruit and less chocolate, but it's much easier said than done when it's cold and an apple is just not the same as some sort of delicious pastry. I wish I was the person who was excited about fruit, and I am, but it needs to be really hot. So today I'm excited about fruit. I could eat loads of fruit today. However, we do not get this weather very often. Tangents, stop. So I want to do that kind of thing. I know it's really good if I go to bed early, but I really struggle with that whole concept, because once I go to sleep, I know I need to get up in the morning and do life. Whereas before that time, I am sort of more free to do what I want to do. So end up going to bed at stupid o'clock, and then I'm really tired the next day, and that's not good. So it's those kind of things that I'm trying to do. I would like to do more exercise. I would like to look after my teeth better. I would like to make sure I'm looking after my health and my skin and all of those things that are kind of good to do that I tend to ignore in favour of reading. So to encourage me to look after myself and be healthier, I'm doing this point system to be healthy for books. So the reward is books. If I do a certain amount of things and I get 7 points, it's kind of, it works in my head. I end up getting 7 points. I get to have a book. And so I have to do a certain amount of things each day to get a point for that day. If I do something that's super good, like doing some sort of exercise class or eating no junk food that day, provided I've done a few other things, then that could be 2 points. So 1 or 2 points a day, and when I've got 7, I get to earn a book. So June, I got 2. It's okay, but like 4 is kind of what I want to be averaging. But it's 2. Which is better than the other months. So I earned Malemander by Thomas Taylor. This is an Eerie-on-Sea mystery. It involves a character called Herbert Lemon and Violet Palmer, like the sweets, sherbet lemon and Palmer violet. So already I'm excited about this. This, I feel, is going to be a really fun read for when it's getting darker. I am excited. I've had this kind of under my bed for a while. I've heard the series for a while, and I'm very keen to read it. I think there are 4 books now, or the 4th is due in September. And I don't know how many are going to be in the series, but I'm excited to read it. But again, it's starting a series, so I'm kind of sort of like slightly held off at the same time. But it sounds like a really fun vibe. I love the name Eerie-on-Sea. I think in each book there's some sort of like ancient creature that is like a threat to this seasidey town. And in this book, I think this is where Herbert and Violet meet each other and sort of become friends. So keen to see how this all goes. The Insiders, I didn't earn, did I? I didn't earn it. I think this was a... Did I earn it? I'm now confused as to my TBRs. No, I didn't earn it. This was a roll of the dice. I won this. So I didn't even earn it. I earned 1 book. So June was just as terrible as the rest of the months. But I'm very excited. I was very excited to earn this one. I really wanted to read this one. I've had this on my radar for a really long time, and it is The Insiders by Mark Oshiro. It is about magical realism. It's in a school. There is a portal door that takes you to kind of like a hidden place. And 3 different children from 3 different schools across states of America get to meet up in this hidden place. And all of them are needing to hide from school for different reasons. And it is a tale of friendship. It's a tale of finding inner strength. It explores identity, racism, homophobia. It has a non-binary character. It explores a lot. So I was very keen to read it. I loved all the themes. This is also going to be in my July wrap up, so I will be talking about it more. But it was a really lovely middle grade. So, and that was June. July. No, that wasn't. Yeah. I'm so confused now. I've totally forgotten. Did I get them in June? Because I'm sure I read this in July. So if I won it on my dice, it should have been July, not June. Yes, I think this was July, not June. Okay, let's retrack. This was June. This was July. Anyway, it is what it is. The book I earned in July, so I earned a book in July, and I was very excited to earn this book. I earned The Shadow Cabinet. I only earned the 1 book in July because, again, I think I ate a lot of ice cream and bad things and stayed up late and was busy doing busy stuff. This is by Juno Dawson. If you have been on my channel recently, you will have seen me talking about this book a lot and it being on my Magical Readathon TBR. So this will be... No, I do have a video about this one already. Is my Magical Readathon TBR. The Shadow Cabinet is the 2nd book in Juno Dawson's adult urban fantasy about witches. The first one being Her Majesty's Royal Coven. And I love this. I love this a lot. This is awesome. I love this series. I love Juno Dawson. It's so much fun. Yeah, so very excited to pick this up and pretty much read it straight away. Okay, in August, and I did my August TBR, I got another, I won a book through playing my game, and the book that I won was Red, White and Whole, which is a middle grade historical fiction novel in verse set in the 1980s. It is by Rajani Larakoka, and it is about a girl who has Indian heritage. She's 1st generation, so she's American Indian, and her parents immigrated to America, and it's how she kind of balances sort of both worlds. So she has like school where it's very westernized and home where it's all about her Indian culture. And so it is sort of like balancing the 2 different cultures, 2 different identities, trying to find out where she fits. And it also starts to explore, I think, illness and health and all of those things. I have not finished reading it yet, but I am very excited to finish it off. I'm very nearly finished. But yes, lovely story. Was very excited to roll it and read it. Okay, the book I definitely earned in August. So it was one a month over the summer. And this book is a highly anticipated beauty that is going to make me really happy but really sad at the same time. And this is Assassin's Fate by Robin Hobb. I was lucky enough to get, pardon me, Fool's Assassin and Fool's Quest from my friend Dave, who found them in a charity shop. Excited. Both hardcovers in the Fits in the Fool trilogy, which is the final trilogy in the realm of the Elderlings. And he was clearing books out of his shelves and said, would you like them, provided I can read them whenever I want? And I said, yes. I think I literally, particularly at those two, snapped his hand off. But I needed Fool's, I needed Assassin's Fate to complete the trilogy, and it needed to be in hardback because the other were. And thankfully, World of Books came through and had a hardback, so I have this book, and now it can go to sit next to my other ones, and I'll be reading it very, very soon and crying because it's the last one. It is the last Fitz book that I will ever be reading for the first time. I am going to be enjoying a wonderful array of rereads, but this is the last time that it will be my first time. It's so pretty. I love the foiling and the blue one here and all the detail around the A for Assassin. We have got candles. We have a little bee here flying over these white towers. We have a taggle. We have a quote here in this blue and gold, and I'm not looking at it because I don't want it to spoil anything. And we have pages. We have end pages decorated. We've got yellow parchment. We've got this sort of spiraling leaves or vines of some kind, and candles and a crow there. Some of the candles are glowing, some are kind of burning brighter. There's kind of like darker flames as we kind of get more towards the end there. And I think it's the same, yeah, and it's the same on the other end page as well. And on the spine, we have grey, and then we have Assassin's Fate in gold, and then we have another bee on the spine. And with the cover back on, we have the same thing, but with the gold and the blue, and then we have a picture of the bee there. There we go. So even though it was not great on my part with books that I earned, I'm very happy with all the books I earned. I am now going to be shaping up. I have just earned my first book of September. There will be a video coming out. It will be before this one. So I'm going to be getting you to join in with me with what books I will earn. I'll be doing a spinner wheel as to what book I will earn from under the bed. So I've got one in the bank. I haven't pulled it out yet. I'm going to wait for you guys to join me on what book I should earn, having done my secret stash drawer. And I'm going to start working towards earning more. I want to be back on track. I want to be getting these books out from under the bed. I want to be healthier. Let's see if I can make it. Thank you so much for watching this video. It is nearly an hour as is standard because I can't shut up. But hopefully you were able to pick out some fun bits amongst all the waffle that comes out of my mouth. Please let me know your thoughts on any of these books. Are there any you're particularly excited about? Do you have thoughts? Have you already read them? What book have you recently hauled that you are very excited to read? Please let me know because you know I love a chat. Happy reading, everyone.